Two things broke this week. One of those is my HT90, and the other one is my patience for Prusa. One's a lot easier to work on than the other. Let's get into it. So this is what I came into in the shop. The sock was very firmly attached to the Blob of Doom, which, I mean, I guess the now broken sock did its job. We had an HT90 where all of the end effector rods, I guess I really don't know what we call these, connecting rods, had come off. There's like one or two still stuck on it. And as you can see, it looks like that it starts grabbing these little pieces and throwing them around the build plate. The end effector was knocked off, and I don't believe we had an issue with build plate adhesion. The parts all look like they stuck just fine, but I do realize the HT90 uses a Revo. And we can see here that Revo isn't tight. I can wiggle it quite a bit. Now, Prusa claims this is not an issue because, according to them, the HT90 has code in it that automatically prefers the right movement so that the Revo nozzle doesn't fall out. Considering this is the 5th time it's happened to me in the middle of a print, I'm unfortunately not inclined to believe that statement. Now, we got lucky. This is just ABS. So it's not that big of a deal cost-wise for material. It's a lot more of an issue when we look at the actual, cost of energy and time and all of that. So what I believe happened here is the nozzle came unscrewed. And it looked like, in theory, that these pieces might have come off the build plate, but I don't think that's the case. I think the nozzle unscrewed enough to where it started to impact the parts. And these smaller parts, yeah, they're gonna fall right off. They don't have a ton of contact to the build plate. And yes, some of them are all warped now, but that's what happens when you run ABS parts. You then run into it. And then we have this big blob of doom here because as it was running into things, it was losing arms from the end effector. As you can see, as that happens, the machine shifts around. And at that point now, the motor that runs these two arms doesn't work. So this was a total and complete failure. I brought this up to Prusa in the past, saying that, hey, we have to make sure that prefer clockwise movements is turned on. Their response to me was that it is. It's just in the slicing and in the G code of the machine, it's not something that you have to do inside a Prusa slicer. So if that was the case, why can I do that? I can tighten it a little bit, but I can't untighten it either because ABS plastic has gotten into those threads. A Revo shouldn't be that loose. You shouldn't be able to move a Revo that much because, like a lot of modern 3D printers, HT90 uses the nozzle booping procedure and a load cell to determine where it is in the world, where the plate is, and things like that. If the nozzle has any amount of wiggle, that won't work. It's not gonna like it. So I guess what we have to do is we have to get this thing off so we can look at it. But the problem is you should be able to undo a Revo by hand. I can't. So we have to go into the actual program and set maybe 200 will be all right. And yes, the HT90 is quite loud when it's doing this stuff. It's an industrial grade printer. I'm not really worried about noise. Although, hi, Trilab, HT90 devs and all of that, would love to see better insulation, especially on this front acrylic. Shit gets toasty, very toasty. It's all up to temp. So if we wanted to tighten it, we would turn it that way. Oh, look, it still tightens. If we wanted to loosen it, it would go this way. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to loosen this nozzle completely because the thing we do need to check is whether or not anything other than the sock was damaged. So the thing with the Revo, similar to a lot of these nozzle heat break combo systems, you can bend it before it actually really fails on you. These are things that we have to watch out for. So we gotta take it out. We gotta check for concentricity to determine whether or not the nozzle is bent. If the nozzle is bent, unfortunately, it's basically trash. Okay, we got it out. I'm going to set the machine to cool down. There is our Revo. I'm going to let this cool down so it's not boiling lava hot, and we'll take a look at this together. Best way that I found to do this is just kind of put it on the edge of something. We just want to roll it, okay? And we're just going to look for it to be out of rounds. We're basically keeping an eye on the tip there to see if the tip kind of weeble wobbles, doesn't fall over. I don't think it's out of round. It doesn't appear to be out of round. So I think we're okay. All that we need is just a new sock, but if a company says that it shouldn't be an issue, then I expect it to not be an issue. And on a machine of this price caliber, bit of a bummer. So if you have an HT90 or know somebody that does or been looking to get an HT90, for the time being, we will pin a comment if this changes. Make sure to select prefer clockwise movements in Prusa Slicer, because if not, it could be the end of your Revo nozzle. Hopefully Prusa will fix it. But see, this is a Prusa video. And to talk to you about the rest of the stuff that's going on, I gotta go outside. Just come with me. So I figured a bit of change of pace is necessary when you're gonna do a bit of the blowing of the whistle, because as you all know, I like Prusa. And since day one, Prusa has always had a rule, which is rung what you brung. Whatever they ship, we show. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent, it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, with the INDX Founders Edition, that kind of changed. In an email here from our Prusa rep, David, who copied both Andre and Rudolph, who happens to be the chief marketing officer, it states that no live streams of the building of the kits are allowed. And I got a bit of a problem with that, because that goes against fundamentally everything that we know and that we've worked with Prusa research to this day. If that means I have to pull the pin on the grenade, right. And to be clear, the rest of the stipulations, I'm fine with. It's a limited edition. If you're gonna do a review, wait for the full edition. Make sure if you're gonna post content that it always says Founders Edition, which, by the way, like none of the creators that got these are actually following, but I digress. And my reply was essentially, I'm not comfortable with this, but we will take a Founders Edition kit, because ultimately we weren't able to order them. As a lot of you know, we were the launch partners with Bondtech at Formnext for the Founders Edition kits, and they were sold out before our live stream ended. It's not like I could stop the stream to buy a kit, no matter how much I actually wanted to be clear. And we can see that almost 2 weeks after that initial email was sent, I follow up to figure out, hey, what's going on? My kit is slated to arrive at any moment. I'd like to get this under control if we can. And my response from Andre was that this is still valid for all Prusa final products, i.e. INDX Prusa Edition, but this is Bondtech Founders Edition, limited edition for founders. So I said that I would follow up with Bondtech, having a one-on-one meeting with Martin Bondius, the president of Bondtech and the founder of Bondtech, who said he had no idea. When I asked Olaf, who a lot of you might know as kind of the guy to talk to over at Bondtech, he didn't know either. And when he asked the people at Prusa, well, they had something a little bit different to say. Prusa is worried about the technical skill issues that come from these kits. And the way I see it, if Prusa was concerned about that, why would they ship it out to end users? Just saying. And this was when I was in Orlando at ISTE, helping out both Prusa and Printed Solid pretty much on my dime. Now, that was to help some friends, and that's what you do. And so I got a reply from Ruda, the chief marketing officer, who was apparently surprised that I'm challenging one of the fundamental rules that I've had from Prusa since before he worked at Prusa Research. Look, we could be torpedoing one of the biggest companies that we've ever worked with, and well, so be it. At the end of the day, my integrity matters a lot more, and if that matters to you, make sure to leave a like and get subscribed, because oh man, are we gonna need it. So we can see what Ruda says here. The offer is simple. You can get the Founders Edition, which is unique and produced in only a limited number of copies. It also differs from the edition we will be shipping after this batch is sent. For example, it has a different front plate. Which, cool, hey, that means the Prusa Edition might actually have better visibility. That would be super cool. And is intended for our most hardcore fans who want to test the machine and provide feedback, ideally internally. We have people constantly asking to be in beta. This was fair chance. So yes, we did not want to ship to reviewers, creators, etc., but we understand exclusivity, eagerness, so we wanted to be nice. It is not in the brand's interest to have the first edition videos circulating with opinions attached. Well, I'm sorry, whether you send them to people or they bought them, they're still going to do that, so deal with it. We know that there still may be issues in the assembly manual and procedures that could be frustrating, and we do not want that kind of content going around. Well, with all due respect, if you don't want that kind of content going around, fix it before it ships. I know this sounds like a crazy thing to say, but get your shit right before you send it to people. Ruda continues saying, honestly, it feels a bit awkward to have to explain our position on this and to be negotiating terms at all. We actually fought for content creators to be able to get the first edition, which I confirm with Bondtech, none of them had any idea about this. Citation needed. The people who bought it, who voted with their own money, did not get any rules attached. We clearly offered the option to decline and wait for final edition, which has no restrictions. So what I'm reading here is that because I was the live stream partner, streaming to almost 1,000 of you, and we were streaming for the entirety of the sale of the Founders Edition kits, I now have to be quiet about it? That sounds like, to me, that Prusa is saying, hey, we're gonna be really cool to send you a Founders Edition, but you gotta be cool and shut up about it. And I'm sorry, that's not how this works. And you might say, Grant, oh my God, this is a bombshell. Yeah, it is for me. And I've had communications with Joseph Prusa and other Prusa staff about this issue. And well, suffice to say, I was told that I could talk about this. Mind you, I didn't ask for permission. I just told them I was gonna talk about this. And so Ruda goes on to say, so yes, we do not want any live streams or reviews of the first edition, since there are only 1,000 copies of it, which you cannot buy anymore. You're very welcome to print with it, showcase prints, share print times, and so on. And Ruda goes on to say, one thing we always stay grounded in at Prusa is that we believe in a gentleman's agreement. We kindly ask you to follow a few rules. We made a proposal, not a contract, and the printer is already, I'm assuming he meant to say in my hands, which it is, and no take-backsies, so the rest is up to you. I'm less than happy about this, because it does feel from a creator's perspective that there is an attempt to buy my silence. If Prusa doesn't want videos of these, then why are they being shipped at all? And if you're saying that the difference between us being able to make a video and not make a video is about $1,000, Prusa, you have my email. Hell, you have my direct bank information. That's how you pay us out for the commissions that we make when people use our affiliate link, which is in the description down below. Still, hilariously. Go ahead, take the money. Take the $1,000, because if the difference between us being able to be open and honest with our community of people that want to see videos about this is $1,000, send the friggin' bill, because I'm not sending the machine back. And with that being said, live stream on Monday. Why don't you all show up to it? It'll be about building something. I guess you'll have to see what that looks like. The fire's a paid actor, I promise. And I know to a lot of you, this might seem like I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but I think it's fair to add on to this that this isn't my first run-in with this gentleman where I feel that we're not really playing in the same ballpark. But I'm concerned that this individual is trying to change one of the fundamental rules of Prusa, which is we send you cool stuff, you talk about cool stuff. If you don't like it, fine. Now, there's only one rule that I've ever had with Prusa outside of run what we brung. If something's not right, or if you gotta say something bad, let us know ahead of time. I already did that. Joseph Prusa and I have been friends for many years, and I've spent the last couple of days being able to barely sleep because this entire thing makes me very anxious and nervous because I am kind of saying less than nice things about one of the few companies that still wants to actively support us because of our integrity. So I hope that this doesn't damage our relationship, and certainly I hope it doesn't damage my relationship with Joseph. So far, it doesn't seem like it has. But I did exactly what was asked of me. I gave professional courtesy in an attempt to try to solve the problem, and when I couldn't, and I had to go public with it, I let the appropriate parties know that I was going public with it. I'm not a huge fan of people lying to me, and I'm certainly not a larger fan of having to call them out. All Prusa needed to say was, hey, it's a little tough. We don't immediately recommend that you do these kits live, but if you want to, that's your prerogative. And if you want someone there as a representative from the company, we can try to schedule that so we can make it possible. I think that makes sense. And that's happened many times before where we've done work with Prusa, where Prusa representatives have been in the live chat in case there were any issues. But I think a warning would have sufficed just fine. Not telling me that we can't, create content, like is in our name, the content creators. This feels the same way as a company trying to say you can only post good reviews. That's just not how this works. It tells me immediately that Prusa is not confident about this. So let's just see how good of a kit they actually sent. I'm gonna violate the rules. And if they don't like it, they know how to reach me. And if they have such a problem with the fact that we were live streaming to almost 1,000 of you and couldn't get our hands on one of those kits because they all sold out before our multi-hour live stream was over, they can send the request for the wire transfer and I will gladly wire the money as soon as I see it. This has never and will never be about money for us. It would be nice to make good money on this channel, but I care a whole lot more about being honest with you all. That's why we make videos like this, where it is 85 degrees outside, the sun is down, and I am sitting next to a campfire. And I sat here for a few days. I mean, literally, I've had this email for damn near a month. I finally said enough's enough and we have to go public.
Because if any other company said this to us, we would have done the exact same pushback. Because who are you to tell me that I can't do something, especially when that something is how we make money and how ultimately that we promote your product? If you're not confident in your product, don't send it. There are people out there that paid for these kits that you can't put these restrictions on. But you're saying that because, well, we were busy at the time and very grateful to be the live stream partner of Bondtech for that unveil, but because of that, we weren't able to get it, so now you're trying to muzzle me. And so this just, it doesn't sit well with me. And it's something that's kept me up at night a lot recently. Not only waiting for a response, but getting a response that just feels outwardly hostile. And I've had a lot of heart-to-hearts with this. I've even talked with a therapist about this exact issue and what to do. And even the therapist said, you know the thing that you need to do. Whether you want to do it or not, whether you believe it could and likely will financially impact you, if you're going to call yourself a creator with integrity, you must operate with integrity. So I want to know your thoughts. Am I blowing this out of proportion? Do you think this is a big deal? Do you not even give a damn? I'd love to know. I understand that to a lot of you, this seems like a very small thing, but to me, this is the straw that broke the camel's back and something that I've really needed to say for a while. Prusa's changed, and I know a lot of you have seen that. I feel like the back and forth was necessary, especially if a company's willing to return emails. We get that same professional courtesy to every company. Anytime that we find issues, we reach out. If they don't reply in a couple of weeks, we send a follow-up, and if they still don't reply, we go public. But it doesn't bring me joy to talk about this. And if this is a company that's going to change the rules and then effectively get caught lying about it, I got a problem with that. I recognize that we were a select few people that were chosen. And whatever, man, if we get knocked down the ladder, so be it. I think it's more important to you all to be honest with you about what's going on so that you know why, while we have an index kit, I've had it for over a week now, we haven't made any content with it. But my mind's made up. If nobody else is going to follow the rules, why should I? Stream on Monday. We'll see you there. I can say that a huge weight is off my shoulders by sharing this with you all, but I'm still very nervous in how it might be taken. But I think it's very important that we share everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. Because if we don't, and we hide the bad issues like this, then we're no better than the bamboo fanboys say we are. It's not to say this is a direct hit piece. The HT90 failing was kind of just the icing on the cake this week. But I do want to give a huge thank you to those members at the $5 tier or higher, at the fire tier or higher, if you will. But I want to thank all of you for making videos like this possible, because without your support, when we have to make videos like this, it's much harder financially. So if you do appreciate the fact that we're not holding back, and even if it is something with one of our favorite companies, make sure to leave a like and get subscribed. If you do want to support $10 tier and higher, gets you into our private Discord server where they've known about this since the day I got this email. And they all said the same thing. It don't feel right. But that's all we have for you all today on the 252nd episode of PrintFix Friday. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. Stay cool, because even at 10 o'clock at night, it is so damn hot I'm sweating just sitting still. And as always, stay frosty. No, keep making awesome. Thanks for watching. Take care. If that means that I have to pull the pin on the proverbial hand grenade, actually didn't realize how tough these pins were to pull. Let me fix that. Pulling the proverbial pin. What the f***? This pin is so tight. All right, I really need to cheat on this pin. Jesus Christ.